Two Florida deputies ambushed in broad daylight. We've got the latest on that investigation this morning as it continues. And we're days away from the world's largest environmental movie. What this year's Earth Day is focusing on, and some tips. And a fascinating look at the way former First Lady Barbara Bush kept her family's memories for decades. We have those stories plus your weekend forecast and First Alert traffic. Good Morning Suncoast starts right now.
You're watching Good Morning Suncoast at 5.
Good morning to you. Thanks so much for waking up and joining us on this Friday morning. It is April 20th, and welcome to the show. I'm Stephanie Webb. Ray Collins and John Scalzi are off all this week, but fill in today and holding down the fort with lots of caffeine is our own Josh Stone. Josh, what is today like, and what is this beautiful weekend hopefully going to have in store for us?
Well, first of all, I think today feels like Friday,
yes,
right?
It is.
We finally made it to the weekend. And let's check out the current temperature right now. When you walk outside, 63 degrees, not much going on as far as cloud cover. So we're looking at clear skies. 62 is the dew point, 97% is the humidity, and not much of a wind out of the north at 3 miles per hour. Now there is a slight light cold front coming down from the north that's going to be on top of us and bring us a few clouds this afternoon. No showers though. The showers though start to ramp up as we get over the weekend and into early next week. We'll show you that in the 7-day outlook. But as far as today goes, we're going to top out in the low 80s around the coast. Again, inland a little bit warmer than that. But what's up with all this rain coming our way? We'll break that down for you when I come back. Back to you.
All right, thanks, Josh. Let's take a look outside your First Alert traffic out there this morning. Not too much to see. We do have one slowdown for you. This is pretty unusual around this time in the morning. 301 northbound heading into Bradenton. It is really backed up already this morning, which is a little early for it to start doing that. 301 and State Road 70. There is some construction there, so that's why that's been so backed up lately. But you do have some slowdowns in those areas just in Manatee County. Then in Sarasota County, those roads aren't looking too bad yet. A couple slowdowns right there on 41 headed northbound if you're heading up, or excuse me, 301 headed northbound as well. We do have one accident to tell you about on I-75 eastbound. There's an entry ramp from Clark Road westbound that is going to be closed. Again, eastbound on I-75, there's an entry ramp right there from Clark Road that is closed right now. So if that's part of your morning commute, that is something that may cost you a few extra minutes. So just leave a little bit early this morning. It's 5:02 and that is your First Alert traffic. And two Florida deputies apparently ambushed while on duty yesterday in broad daylight. This morning, the investigation continues to put together those final minutes and look for a motive. It happened yesterday in Trenton, which is about 35 miles west of Gainesville. Now, the Gilchrist County Sheriff says two deputies, Sergeant Noel Ramirez and Deputy Taylor Lindsay, were both shot and killed while inside of a restaurant. Now, the two had stopped to get lunch, had just sat down to eat when the suspect, 59-year-old John Hinote, walked up to the restaurant and shot both deputies through the window. Now, both of them died of their wounds. The suspect was found dead outside. So far, they don't have a motive for the shooting.
We're not going to make this a political issue, other than the fact, what do you expect happens when you demonize law enforcement?
And Florida Department of Law Enforcement is now taking over that investigation. Well, some good news this morning. Caught. The fugitive Minnesota grandmother wanted in connection with two murders was arrested last night in Texas, ending a month-long search. 56-year-old Lois Rice, or Losing Streak Lois, as the FBI nicknamed her due to gambling issues, was arrested last night in a restaurant on South Padre Island. A witness that recognized her from numerous media reports all over the country called police. Rice had been the subject of a nationwide manhunt for almost a month now, accused in the murder of her husband in Minnesota and of stealing over $10,000 from his bank accounts. She was also wanted in connection to the death of Pamela Hutchinson, who was found dead last week in Fort Myers. Police believe that Rice may have killed Hutchinson simply to steal her identity because the two women looked alike. Now, police did find Hutchinson's car on the scene where Rice was arrested. And check this out, surveillance video out of a 7-Eleven in South Florida. You can see the thief. There's a man that walks in. He picks up a pack of gum, opens up his wallet like he's going to pay. He then walks around to the sales counter. That's when the cashier goes into defense mode. He ended up stabbing the man with a pocket knife, the suspect, and then runs to safety. The robber did grab some cash and grabbed some cash register itself and then left the area. Deputies are still searching for that suspect who got away about a month ago. And it's going to be a big day in court today for Stormy Daniels. A federal judge in California will hold a hearing to decide whether or not her lawsuit against Michael Cohen and President Trump will be delayed. The adult film actress is asking that the non-disclosure agreement, or NDA, regarding an alleged sexual encounter between her and Trump be dissolved. Now, Daniels feels that the NDA is void because the president never actually signed it himself. It was Cohen who signed it on the president's behalf. Attorneys for the president and Cohen are expected to ask the judge today to delay the suit due to the ongoing federal criminal investigation of Cohen in New York. Of course, his home, his office, and hotel room were all raided last week by the FBI. And a man is facing battery charges this morning after police say he punched a Holmes Beach store clerk several times after that clerk accused him of shoplifting. Holmes Beach police say Jason Bounds was at Jesse's Island store back in March when the clerk confronted him. Now, Bounds is accused of punching her several times. She still tried to detain him, but eventually was able to run away. The victim later identified Bounds as her attacker in the case. And new details this morning on that mysterious death inside a Longboat Key sauna. Longboat Key police have ruled out foul play after the medical examiner determined that 54-year-old Lori Martin took her own life in the sauna that day. It happened back in January at the Harborside moorings. Martin's body was found inside the sauna, prompting a 4-month investigation. Right now, Sarasota police are looking for help identifying another armed robbery suspect. Take a look. Police say this man entered a Subway restaurant on North Washington Boulevard last Friday, showed the worker a gun, and then demanded money. Now, no one was hurt in the exchange, but the robber did get away with some cash. You're wanted to call Sarasota County Crime Stoppers at 366-TIPS if you have any information or you recognize the man on your screen. Well, as temperatures continue to heat up here on the Suncoast, the number of mosquitoes continues to grow. So Manatee County is testing out a new approach to try and get rid of them. Now, they've teamed up with a Dutch company to experiment with the In2Care trap. This device is filled with a safe insecticide which attracts the mosquitoes and kills the eggs that they lay. Now, that insecticide sticks to the mosquito itself, and then it goes to infect any other eggs that are laid within a 200-foot radius. Now, that mosquito that's carrying the insecticide will eventually die itself within a few days. Those traps will be installed in the village area of Longboat Key and tested there free of charge. Fingers crossed.
I think it's a wonderful product. I think it's great. It may reduce our need for spraying for this mosquito.
I think it's wonderful. I think it's a marvelous opportunity to see if we can get rid of these little blighters.
I like those words. Right now, about 60% of the homeowners are on board with this experiment. The Manatee County Mosquito Control District hopes at least 80% of residents will give it a try. The experiment gets underway the second week in May, and then it runs all the way through August. Well, this Sunday, it is Earth Day. It's a day to focus on how to be a little kinder to Mother Earth and help take care of our planet. This year's theme is fighting plastic pollution. And no surprise here, plenty of that plastic ends up on our Suncoast beaches every day. ABC 7's Marla Spence joins us now with some easy ways to go green this year. Marla?
Good morning, Stephanie. You know, Earth Day is on Sunday, and yeah, doing our part daily is exactly what is encouraged for many to do, and they don't have to wait until Sunday to do it. According to earthday.org, this has become one of the largest threats to the environment. More than 480 billion plastic bottles were sold worldwide in 2016. Now, this year, Earth Day is focusing on ending plastic pollution. Many of those bottles end up in our beaches and landscapes, and they also clogged up many waste streams and landfills. Water bottles are not the only issue, so are plastic bags. And to help with this issue, there are a few ways to go green all year long. So I brought some props on set. And so for you all that are out there, instead of using these plastic bags at your local grocery store, you should consider using maybe one of these. And instead of using your typical disposable water bottles like one of these, or even your disposable coffee cups, it's advised that you could use something that's more reusable, like a reusable coffee mug. Now, you have to wait until Earth Day to celebrate and to go green. You can do that starting today at Selby 5 Points Park in downtown Sarasota. Visitors will learn how to go green. They'll also have a chance to explore a tiny home and view electric cars on site, which is really cool. And that's from 11:30 this morning to 1:30 this afternoon. So a great way to keep our Earth clean and green. Back to you, Stephanie.
All right, thank you so much, Marla. Some good tips right there. Well, Barbara Bush is being remembered as the matriarch of the Bush family, a force to be reckoned with. And as the week has unfolded, we've really learned some pretty surprising and interesting things about the former First Lady. One of those, that she started scrapbooking way back in the 1940s and had a collection of over 100 carefully created scrapbooks and photo albums that will now be on display. Reporter Nick Notario got a look at this incredible collection.
George Bush Library visitors are treated to a thorough look at the Bush's lives. But what many don't know, the wealth of documents mainly come from behind the store.
I mean, it's a little bit mind-boggling, and you can tell I'm a little biased. You know, I think that's the best stuff in the world.
Archivist Mary Finch is careful as she handles books that are normally sealed in acid-free boxes and stored in a climate-controlled room.
And that's her handwriting?
Yes, this is her handwriting.
Notes found on sheets of 2 by 3 foot size paper. Scrapbooks that Barbara cut, glued, and put together herself.
The first scrapbook we have from Mrs. Bush herself is from 1943, when they got engaged.
For more than 70 years, she kept going.
I'd say she put together about 100.
Time capsules that highlight their family life, time in office, and creative ways that got Bush elected.
And this is an example of what she used to call her Bush bags.
As Bush climbed from Congress to ambassador to the White House, the elevated roles never slowed down Barbara's passion to capture it all.
While
It's
she was
amazing.
in the White House, she was gluing articles and photos to scrapbooks?
Yes, that's what she said, yes. Isn't that amazing?
Finch believes Bush did so because even at 19, she knew her marriage would be special. Priceless artifacts that will continue to educate people about her family.
And how lucky are we that she did this?
Oh, I mean, we've always been fortunate that the Bushes have given themselves, you know, to the country, really, for all these years. And this was just another way they've given back.
All right, and that incredible collection even includes the very first dance card that she and her future husband at the time had together. So it's an amazing collection. Of course, Barbara Bush will be lying in repose today for people to go there and pay their respects. It begins at noon, and we will be live streaming that event all day. It's expected to go at least until midnight. Still to come on Good Morning Suncoast, the latest in your first alert traffic, and we've got the boat show that is going to be coming up this weekend. It kicks off today. Side note, Twiggy, the water skiing squirrel, is even going to be on hand. Later in the hour, we're going to be talking to a representative from the boat show, and we'll tell you everything that you can expect to see and drool over this weekend. And coming up in the show, new development regarding the investigation of Prince's death, what they have found in the latest. And coming up a little later in that hour, after nearly 60 years of one president, Cuba finally has a new president. But the question, will anything change? The answer we'll have for you later in the hour. But first, Josh Stone, a little look at today's forecast and the weekend.
That's right. Today is Friday, and we can expect mostly sunny to partly cloudy skies this afternoon. But this graphic looks a little different as we get into the weekend. We'll talk about it when I return in just a few minutes from now. Stay with us.
Are you a soccer mom or dad? Regardless of their age or experience level, when your kids play soccer or any other sport, there's one person on the sideline who is key to help recognize and seek medical care for sports-related concussion. It's you. You need to know the signs and symptoms of concussion, and you need to act if you think your child has been injured. Remember, when in doubt, sit them out. To learn more, go to cdc.gov/concussion. 2001, 2002, 2003, 2004.
I witnessed him have 2 heart attacks in ICU. He went through seizures.
We'd much rather have Aaron like this than dead. A lot of parents don't have that luxury.
He can't talk. He can't walk. This is a condition Aaron will live with for the rest of his life because he abused prescription pills.
Mind your meds. Learn more from the Partnership for Drug-Free Kids.
Stay connected to your clients and new customers using ABC7 Digital Media Services. Our team of professionals provide a wide array of digital services to help you get the most out of your website. We specialize in building and helping you maintain the most effective digital solutions for your business. It's vital that your online presence stands out, so our experts will equip you with the best resources available. Trust ABC7 Digital Media Services to give you the right tools to grow your business.
I love taking care of my mom. It wasn't easy at first. She learned how to better communicate her needs.
And you learned how to not ignore yours.
I discovered how to make healthier meals.
And I discovered how much I enjoyed them.
Becoming a caregiver is a learning experience for everyone. Find articles, tips, and tools from experts and others who have been in your place. The Caregiving Resource Center at aarp.org/caregiving.
All right, now normally this is where we do weather, but we need to change it up a little bit here because we have a few traffic notes out there to tell you about. First off, in Manatee County, we are starting to see some congestion right there on 301 and State Road 64, but we've got a couple traffic notes throughout the area. Let's head into Sarasota County right now, and we can show you some of those traffic updates. All right, so Sarasota right now, we've got Fruitville Road is looking a little congestion, but we do have something that is right there on I-75. The eastbound entry ramp from Clark Road heading westbound is closed. Again, I-75 eastbound, the entry ramp from Clark Road heading west is closed. So let's go a little bit farther in that area and we can show you something else that's on the map right there. We've got another one for you on that looks like 75 northbound. Again, the road is blocked from exit 195 Laurel Road to exit 200, which is FL 681, State Road 681, which is also Clark. So I-75 northbound, the road is blocked at exit 195. We're going to be sending Marla there right now. She's going to be covering that live for you as well. And then we do have one other traffic note to bring up and tell you about, another construction note where it's blocked in there. If we can bring that up, we can give you the other stuff. Again, the northbound lane, there's an entry ramp from Laurel Road eastbound is closed. So on I-75 northbound, the entry ramp from Laurel Road heading east is now closed for you this morning. So a couple traffic notes to tell you about all kinds of closures and some things going on. Like I said, we are sending Marla live out there. She will have your morning traffic coverage for you as well. As soon as we know more, we will give all the information to you so you'll have a safer and maybe need to add a little bit or change up that morning commute. That is your First Alert traffic, and now to Josh Stone for weather.
All right, Stephanie, thanks so much. And it looks like our temperatures are cooling down to the dew point. I don't know if these accidents are related to any sort of fog that has developed, but there's some areas of patchy fog out there this morning. I just checked the observations, and there's some fog being reported down in Fort Myers, but not officially here at the Sarasota-Bradenton International Airport, at least from this last hour. So we'll just keep monitoring that, but keep in mind if you run into low visibility on the roadways, just slow it down because you just can't see what's really ahead of you before it may be too late if you're going a certain speed. 63 right now in Sarasota, 64 in Venice. We're kind of scraping the 59-degree mark here in Mayaca City and Arcadia right now, and Wauchula at 60 degrees at this time. A little bit lower than that. We're in the 50s over there, but that's inland. Closer to the coast, a little bit warmer than that. We have pretty much a light wind coming out of the north and northwest, about 5 miles per hour or so, but that will pick up to maybe about 10 this afternoon. Nothing to show you on the radar. It is all quiet. Once again, high pressure in control, but there's a little change coming our way. A very weak front's going to come and slide over the area today, bringing us a few clouds. And then there's a better chance for showers on Saturday. And then things really start to ramp up with the more powerful storm system coming our way from the west that should arrive by Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening, and lingering into Monday. It's chilly up here in Minot, North Dakota at 31 degrees. Down here, as we showed you, we're in the low 60s at this time, so feeling a little bit better. So this system that produced some snow and some heavy rain up here in the northeast, that's exiting out into the Atlantic, but the tail end of it, you can see, well, we're going to get swiped by that with this weak front. Doesn't have a lot of moisture to work with, but still going to bring us a few clouds later on today. And then the more powerful system starting to get going out here to the west. It's an upper level low that's going to eventually track eastward here as we go through the next couple of days, and we'll put the futurecast into motion. As you can see, maybe just a few showers on Saturday. This is unrelated to the more powerful system out to the west, but look what happens. It's going to migrate eastward, and then by Sunday evening, a little more widespread shower activity, and then by Monday, we get the brunt of it. Maybe a few thunderstorms could take place out of this. I don't think anything really severe, but still producing some heavy rain at times, some gusty winds, and cloud-to-ground lightning. As far as the boaters today, north-northwesterly wind at 5 to 10 knots, seas at 1 to 2 feet with a light chop in the bays. Our high today around 79, 80 degrees along the coast, a little bit warmer inland. And then for the next several days, again, we're watching this cold front coming our way that's going to produce the clouds and the shower activity, especially on Sunday and into Monday. Then it exits the area. Some residual of that comes our way on Tuesday, but that should wind down, and then we start to dry out again as we get into mid to late next week with more sunshine in the forecast. Back to you, Stephanie.
All right, thank you so much, Josh. Like still ahead on Good Morning Suncoast, some of those Netflix original movies could be headed to the big screen. We'll tell you exactly what is behind that move. Plus, a new hotel could soon be on the island of Venice. Stick around, we have those stories and more when we come back.
We're losing exotic animals on a daily basis, and the ones that we have in captivity are really the ambassadors for their wild counterparts. I'm Clayton Rozier from the Big Cat Habitat and Gulf Coast Sanctuary, housing over 150 exotic animals that needed a great home. And if you love animals, please help them. Do it locally. Support your local no-kill shelters, your local wild animal sanctuaries. Make a difference where you can.
Invest in Kids is a $7.5 million project to build a new Boys and Girls Club in South Manatee County. I'm Caleb Grimes, and I was a club kid. It's where I learned important life lessons, leadership, integrity, responsibility, and baseball. Thousands of kids attend the Boys and Girls Clubs, and after years of use, their club is slowly falling apart. Help us invest in kids. Make your donation today.
This is your brain. This is drugs. This is your brain on drugs. Any questions?
Yeah, I have questions.
Prescription drugs aren't as bad as street drugs, right?
Weed's legal, isn't it?
Drinking is worse than smoking weed.
Isn't it? Why
is heroin so addictive?
Molly just makes you feel happy.
I have questions.
Mom?
Dad, did you ever try drugs?
They're going to ask. Be ready. Go to drugfree.org. A message from Partnership for Drug-Free Kids.
Patriotism. It inspires passionate debate, and it's worn like a badge of honor with good reason, because it means love and devotion for one's country. But what really makes up this country of ours? It's the people. To love America is to love all Americans. This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Love beyond age, sexuality, disability, race, religion, and other labels. Because love has no labels.
Well, a brand new hotel could be coming to Venice Island. Marriott has proposed an upscale Sheraton hotel, and there are plans that apparently have been 3 years in the making. The location for the new hotel is on US 41, right across from the Village on the Isles Continuous Care Complex. Now, this would be the first hotel built on the island in years. The Planning Commission has approved the project, and it now goes before the Venice City Council for a rezoning hearing. Well, some of those original content movies from Netflix could soon be headed to the big screen. ABC's Kenneth Moten and Diane Macedo have all the details in this morning Text Bites.
In today's Tech Bites, could Netflix be heading to the big screen?
Reports say Netflix is looking into purchasing theaters. The streaming service has recently backed out of a deal to buy Mark Cuban's Landmark Theater, but the company is still interested in buying cinemas. With its original movies playing in theaters, Netflix would likely be eligible for Hollywood awards like Oscars.
Ooh.
A less expensive iPhone could be on the way.
Apple will reportedly release a new phone later this year with a $550 price tag. The new phone would be bigger than the iPhone X and half the price. Apple's also showing off a new gadget, but this one isn't for sale.
Ahead of Earth Day, the company unveiled its new robot named Daisy. The robot can take apart old iPhones so the parts can be recycled. Apple says Daisy can disassemble 200 iPhones per hour.
Can Daisy put together IKEA furniture?
Ah, good question.
Those are your Tech Bites.
Have a great day.
Tech Bites, sponsored by Onoro.
COPD makes it hard to breathe. So to breathe better, I go with Onoro.
COPD tries to say go this way. I say I'll go my own way with Onoro.
Once Daily Onoro contains 2 medicines called bronchodilators that work together to significantly improve lung function all day and all night. Onoro is not for asthma. It contains a type of medicine that increases risk of death in people with asthma. The risk is unknown in COPD. Onoro won't replace rescue inhalers for sudden symptoms and should not be used more than once a day. Tell your doctor if you have a heart condition, high blood pressure, glaucoma, prostate, bladder, or urinary problems. These may worsen with Onoro. Call your doctor if you have worsened breathing, chest pain, mouth or tongue swelling, problems urinating, vision changes, or eye pain while taking Onoro.
Ask your doctor about Onoro.
Get your first prescription free at Onoro.com.
I'm calling in regards about my mother, and I'm here, and I just want to thank you because it saved my mother's life yesterday. And I'd like to know the names of the people that came in and saved her so I could call and thank them. And she's doing fine. It's a wonderful thing. Thank you.
When you fall and cannot get up, an accident can turn into a tragedy. But with Life Alert, one touch of a button can get you help fast. Life Alert saves a person from a catastrophe every 10 minutes.
Life Alert is a lifesaver. If it weren't for Life Alert, I wouldn't be sitting here today.
For a free Life Alert brochure, call 1-800-652-3012. That's 1-800-652-3012. Call now 1-800-652-3012. For a free brochure, call 1-800-652-3012.
It's been about a month, and I can honestly say I've seen the change in me. I went from being a depressed girl who didn't want help to this happy, caring girl who loves helping other people. I just really hope that people that went through what I went through get the help that they need because their story is important and they are loved. Thank you so much for everything.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made her college years happen. Opening that education savings account when she was little. Spearheading a campus tour. And another, and another, and another, and another. Bam! Deciphering financial aid. She was like, what? But now she's like, you aced planning for college. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
That is a pretty good breakfast. You're not even eating.
Not hungry.
No? Why not? What's up?
Kath and I knew that Jenny'd been partying a bit. Found out she tried heroin.
Most people don't know what to say about drugs, but we do. Visit us at drugfree.org.
My name is Haley. I have Fragile X syndrome. I work with Chartwells at Einstein's and FAU. I like being up front and interacting with students. The students are very nice and very hungry. Having a job is a big ticket for independence.
Hi, this is Dan Marino. When your business recruits people with disabilities, everybody wins. To find out how, go to disabilitieswork.com. EmployFlorida.com.
Get breaking news, plus first alert weather and traffic focused on where you live. Watch Good Morning Suncoast on ABC 7, weekdays starting at 5.
Lance Armstrong back in the news this morning. The millions the former cyclist will now have to pay after admitting to taking performance-enhancing drugs. Plus, you are looking live at Marina Jack in downtown Sarasota. We're starting today. It's the annual Suncoast Boat Show. All the things you're going to be able to see today. We'll have it for you later in the hour. And across the country, many are mourning the loss of an iconic woman. How former First Lady Barbara Bush is being remembered. We have those stories, plus your first alert weather and traffic. It's all straight ahead on Good Morning Suncoast.
You're watching Good Morning Suncoast at 5:30.
Good morning to you. It is 5:30 on this Friday morning. TGIF. Welcome back to you. I am Stephanie Webb. Ray Collins is off this week. John Scalzi is off this week. They're all getting some much needed rest, and they'll be fresh and ready to go come Monday morning. It is April 20th. Filling in today is none other than our own Josh Stone. Josh, how's the weather out there looking today? Take a bow, sir. Take a bow.
Thank you. It's Friday, all right? We finally made it.
Finally
made it. All right, well, the weather is looking like this right now. Fairly comfortable in the lower 60s to mid 60s, depending on where you are. Sarasota at 63 degrees, 62 in Venice, 68 down in Venice at this time. And we're looking at just a few passing clouds. That's about it. Everything very mild. The radar doesn't have much on it at all, if anything. We're looking at a quiet radar day today. A little more activity comes our way tomorrow, and especially on Sunday and Monday, and we'll break that down for you when we show you the main weathercast. As far as our forecast today, expect lots of sunshine, then becoming partly cloudy, especially in the afternoon, with this weak cold front coming our way just to help cloud up the skies a little bit. But still, the temperatures are going to be fairly mild. Temperatures climbing into the upper 70s and lower 80s, depending on where you are. But like I said, there's a change coming our way over the weekend as far as wet weather goes. So we'll talk more about that in the main weathercast. Back to you.
All right, thanks, Josh. I want to tell you about some first alert traffic things that we have going on out there for you today. In Manatee County, a lot of congestion, surprisingly. Some of that has actually started to clear up and go through a little bit, but 301 is running very slow out there this morning. In Sarasota County, we do have a couple things to tell you about on those areas. First of all, Fruitville Road, starting to see a little congestion. Bee Ridge Road, right there, almost to 41, that's a little congested this morning. Also, a traffic note to tell you about I-75, the eastbound entry ramp from Clark Road, if you're heading west, is closed. So if you're coming off of 75 onto Clark Road and you're heading west, the eastbound lane in that one is going to be closed today. So just a heads up on that one as well. A little bit farther south, we do have another traffic note to tell you about right there, and that one is on 75. You can see the purple that is right there on your screen. On I-75 headed south on the southbound lane, there is a road blocked from exit 205, which is Clark Road, to exit 200, which is State Road 681. So again, I-75, the southbound lane, the road is blocked from exit 205, which is Clark, to exit 200, which is 681. So that's your traffic out there. We do have a couple traffic notes, and we'll stay on top of those. Our Marla Spence is actually headed out there to that second one, so we'll bring you the latest as we get more information. And that is your first alert traffic, and it is 5:32. Well, here's a name that we haven't heard in a while, Lance Armstrong. He's making headlines again. After 5 years, a lawsuit has finally been settled. The cyclist has agreed to pay $5 million to the United States Postal Service. Now, that lawsuit could have gone as high as $100 million in damages from Armstrong. He, of course, was stripped of his record 7 Tour de France victories after admitting that he used performance-enhancing drugs throughout much of his career. Now, this settles the suit that the Department of Justice filed against him back in 2013. Now, the Postal Service, this is where they come in. They sponsored Armstrong's cycling team during 6 of the 7 years that he won the Tour de France. And a developing story this morning out of Parkland. Police have released the arrest report for the accused school shooter. Of course, he's accused in the death of 17 people on February the 14th. Police say Nicholas Cruz left his rifle and escaped the Stoneman Douglas High School campus. More than an hour later, a Coconut Creek officer saw someone matching the description of the suspect at the time. The officer who wrote up the arrest report says he pointed a gun at Cruz. He also says in the report that Cruz was calm. He appeared to understand his directions and complied with his orders to lie face down in the grass and not move. He, of course, was handcuffed and he was brought to his feet to face witnesses brought there to identify the shooter at the time. When witnesses confirmed that he was the shooter, at least what they saw, the report says that he became weak and needed help holding himself up. Now, the report says at that point he started hyperventilating and throwing up a clear liquid. Emergency workers were called in as a precaution. If you remember that day, the reports that he went to the hospital, and that is reportedly behind the reason why. Well, his death shocked the world back in 2016. Prince was found dead at his Minnesota home. Later, it came out that he died of an accidental fentanyl overdose. Yesterday, we found out if anyone will be charged in that case of the overdose. Here's Reed Binion with more.
Nearly 2 years after the death of Prince at his Paisley Park home in April 2016, the Carver County attorney announced today that no criminal charges will be filed in connection to his accidental fentanyl overdose.
Without probable cause and no identified suspect, the Carver County Attorney's Office cannot file any criminal charges involving the death of Prince.
The county attorney stated that there is no evidence that Prince knew he was taking counterfeit Vicodin pain pills that contained fentanyl, and there's no way to know how he obtained the pills. Also, the Minnesota physician who treated Prince twice in the weeks before he died has agreed to pay a $30,000 fine to settle allegations that he prescribed controlled substances in the name of one person, knowing that the controlled substances were intended to be used by Prince. That doctor's attorney released this statement, quote, Dr. Schullenberg decided to settle with the United States regarding the alleged civil claims in order to avoid the expense, delay, and unknown outcome of litigation. He made no admission of facts nor liability and denies any such liability. Unanswered questions remain. Where did Prince get those deadly counterfeit pain pills? And from whom? I'm Reed Binion reporting.
Well, after nearly 60 years of Castro leading the country, finally Cuba has a new president. But will anything really change now? CNN's Patrick Oppman has the latest from Havana.
This was the moment that Cubans knew they had a new president and that the revolutionary torch had been passed. The result was never really in doubt. Cuba's National Assembly picks the island's president in theory, but the only candidate on the ballot was this man, Cuban first vice president and Raul Castro's hand-picked successor, Miguel Diaz-Canel. Cuba's new president won the vote, such as it was, 603-1. It could have been that 100% of the vote was just too much, or that one Cuban lawmaker simply didn't get the memo on who to support. Diaz-Canel is 58 and was born after the guerrilla fight that swept the Castros to power. A bureaucrat replacing revolutionaries, but one who at least still talks tough. No one will weaken the revolution or defeat the Cuban people, he said, because Cuba doesn't make concessions against its sovereignty or independence. For another 3 years, ex-Cuban President Raul Castro will hold onto the title of the first secretary of the Cuban Communist Party that sets the island's long-term agenda. Then he will turn that job as well over to his successor. He will stay on as first secretary, Castro said, to keep the road open. As Raul Castro leaves the scene, Diaz-Canel is on his way to become Cuba's new strongman.
In less than a decade, Miguel Diaz-Canel has vaulted from obscurity to the pinnacle of power in Cuba. It's clear he now inherits Cuba's economic problems and still unresolved dispute with the United States. The future of the revolution is in his hands.
The mark that Fidel and Raul Castro left on this island will endure for generations, Elian Gonzalez tells me, himself a supporter of the government and possible future leader. Many people say that the Castros' mandate will end, Elian says, but their ideology won't end, what they have taught us. The ideas of the Castros won't end with their mandate because Cuba is more than its government. Both worshipped and vilified, the era of the Castros is coming to a close. And now begins the hard work of figuring out what comes next.
Patria o muerte, socialismo o muerte, venceremos.
Patrick Oppman, CNN Havana.
Well, wife to one president, mother of another, it was a fascinating life that former First Lady Barbara Bush led. And all this week, her life has been celebrated. Today, the public will finally have the chance to pay their respects in person. Deborah Wrigley has the latest.
Against a backdrop of children singing, Barbara Bush's life was remembered as one well-lived and celebrated. by 4th grader Bailey Moore, who's an author.
First Lady Miss Barbara Bush still stands as a giant in education throughout the participation of the many Houston youth that participate in her literacy program today.
By the clergy she called friends, not grieving.
But out of thanksgiving to our God that he gave her to us.
It was pointed out Mrs. Bush would have loved the crowd, all ages, races, all walks of life. President Bush sent a letter thanking everyone for his wife's tribute.
If I could, I would be with you. But at age 93, I need to save my strength for the days ahead.
The Houston Children's Choir has performed many times over the years for the Bushes, this time different. But even now, Barbara Bush's life is influencing another generation.
I think it's going to push me to be more like her, like respect the people that need respecting and help the people that need help.
And that's called a legacy, children dreaming a little bigger because of her support for literacy for families. Her life may be over, her impact isn't for a Barbara Bush elementary student.
I would die one day and I would go to heaven. I'll see her again and thank her for everything that she's done on earth.
In Houston, Deborah Wrigley, ABC News.
And of course, today the public can pay their respects. Barbara Bush is going to be lying in repose. The event kicks off today at noon and it runs until about midnight. And we will be live streaming that all day long on our Facebook page. Make sure you like our page. You can follow us. You can find it by looking for ABC7 or WWSB. All right now, something else that is going on today and taking place all throughout the weekend. Live look at Marina Jack in downtown Sarasota, where today the annual Suncoast Boat Show kicks off officially. It's going to be all weekend long. You can go and you can look at cruisers and runabouts and boat riders and sport fishing boats, you name it, it's going to be there. Whatever you've been wanting to drool over, you're going to be able to find it right there today. Nearly 300 boats are going to be on display all weekend. It starts in just a few hours at 10 o'clock. We're going to be speaking with one of our representatives next hour. They're going to let us know what you're going to be able to see this weekend. And then at noon, guess which Good Morning Suncoast anchor is going to be interviewing Twiggy, the water skiing squirrel. That's going to happen, folks. It will be a career highlight. All right. Moving on now, we have the weather, and of course we want to take a look at the weekend forecast to make all those plans on which day you should be going to the boat show. Josh Stone has your first look at the weekend forecast. Josh, what can we expect to see?
All right, Stephanie. Yeah, as far as today goes, because we got to focus on Friday, we finally made it to the beginning of the weekend. It looks like it's going to be another fabulous day. A few more clouds will develop in the afternoon with a weak cold front that's going to slide into the area. But highs today, much like yesterday, topping out in the upper 70s and lower 80s, depending on where you are. A little change comes our way for the weekend. We'll see if we can get these events going over the weekend with no troubles, but it's all up to Mother Nature. Anyway, we'll have the details coming up.
Today, everyone is looking for more fashionable choices in flooring than ever before. And G. Fried has responded with a huge selection of carpets, tile, wood, laminate, and vinyl. Installed by a highly skilled team, G. Fried has got everything you're looking for and more. The next time you think about quality flooring, think G. Fried Flooring America. G. Fried Flooring America. Our world is at your feet.
My name is Stephen Jaffe. The law firm's name is Farmer Jaffe. One of the beautiful things about Julius is he's always smiling, and it becomes infectious. The fact that Julius has a disability has absolutely nothing to do with the quality of work that he's done. Just a great person you want on your staff.
Hi, this is Dan Marino. When your business recruits people with disabilities, everybody wins. To find out how, go to disabilitieswork.employflorida.com.
Coast Guard, we are taking on water.
The United States Coast Guard. They secure our ports and waterways, protect our environment, keep drugs away from our kids, and save lives. It's dangerous work. And in times of triumph or tragedy, the Coast Guard Foundation answers the call to support Coast Guard members and their families. Learn more at coastguardfoundation.org.
There was this big bruise on my friend's face. I didn't want to see it. I didn't want to think her own nephew could have hit her.
I didn't want to see it. My mother's bank account was emptied, and a caregiver had taken control of it.
I didn't want to see it. My father's refrigerator, there was hardly anything in it. That's unusual for him.
It's tough to see that a senior citizen is being abused, physically, emotionally, sexually, or financially. Elder abuse is a crime. So see the signs, stop the crimes.
Everything all right? Actually, you know how Tom had knee surgery? Sure. We found out Brad's been taking his painkillers. And it turns out he's been doing it for a while.
Most people don't know what to say about drugs, but we do. Visit us at drugfree.org.
We've all heard how military veterans adjusting to the civilian world may have certain issues.
30. 70.
If only everyone had this issue. No matter what challenge they face, Easter Seals is here for America's veterans.
Ever since I can remember, I've been intrigued by industrial design and the optimization.
Wait, that's passion? Ever since I can remember, my passion has been industrial design. We need 3D printers for Miss Adams' engineering program so that we are ready to solve 21st century challenges.
Impressive. Think It Up is a new initiative to support student-powered, teacher-led learning projects. Students and teachers, how can you spark great learning experiences in your classroom today? Think It Up.
Hey, good morning. Good to see you. I'm meteorologist Josh Stone in for John Scalzi. He will be back Monday. But let's check out our current temperature right now in Sarasota. It's 63 degrees with clear skies. Dew point at 62. Humidity at 97%. Wind, not much of a factor at all, out of the north at 3 miles per hour. Well, here's our radar, and nothing to show you here. Again, high pressure still in control, but we do have a weak cold front slipping down from the north that's going to increase our clouds today. No showers, though, because it is a weak cold front, doesn't have a lot of moisture to work with. So other than a few clouds, that's about it. Is what we'll see today, but a better chance for shower activity tomorrow afternoon, and then things start to ramp up for Sunday night and into Monday. So as far as the outdoor activities go for this weekend, I think we're going to be okay. May have to watch the skies for tomorrow afternoon, but these are going to be for the most part, isolated showers, not a big deal. Sunday night, though, a little more widespread, but I think that should come in maybe about 6 p.m., maybe even just after that. And then things, we could have some downpours there. So here's the cold front that's weak that's coming our way today. That's the tail end of the big system producing all the snow and the heavy rain up here in the northeast. This whole system now tracking out into the Atlantic. But as far as the system that will come our way on Sunday, lingering into Monday, it's right here in Texas, upper level low, just starting to get going. In fact, a lot of snow coming down the central Rockies out of this. You have the cold air behind it. You have this area of low pressure spinning counterclockwise, picking up the Gulf moisture around it. So a lot of moisture here. And then this will be pushing our way to produce some wet weather for our Sunday into Monday. As far as flying out of SRQ on this Friday morning, no issues at all. Atlanta, LaGuardia, O'Hare, Charlotte, no delays at this time. So once again, a few showers could develop in the afternoon for our Saturday. Not a big deal. A bigger deal, though, is with this more complex system, more powerful and potent system coming our way as we get into Sunday and Monday. Looks like this is going to be more of a widespread event all the way from Boca up towards Tampa and into Jacksonville, even in the panhandle of Florida here. So it's going to be kind of a wet go for the latter part of the weekend, at least in the evening hours of Sunday, and like I said, into Monday as well. So just keep that in mind if you have any sort of barbecue plans on Sunday night. Northwesterly wind at 5 to 10 knots for the boaters today. Seas at 1 to 2 feet with light conditions in the bays. Around 78 degrees at the beach today. UV index still pretty high at 10 is what we're looking at. So once again, we have a weak cold front coming our way today, just going to give us a few clouds. Then a more potent system comes our way into Sunday and lingering into Monday kind of ramps up the rain chance, even some thunderstorms on Monday as well. I don't think anything too severe, but still producing some heavy rain, gusty winds, and some cloud-to-ground lightning strikes. And then high pressure in the wake of this cold front will come in and bring us some more sunshine as we get into mid to late next week. Stephanie?
All right, thanks, Josh. We do have some first alert traffic to tell you about today. There is a hot spot, and it's actually farther south in the area, which is normally not where we see a lot of traffic incidents. We want to tell you about a spot in southern South County right there. I-75 southbound. In that southbound lane, as you can see all the purple that is right there on your map, the road is blocked from exit 205, which is Clark Road, all the way to exit 200. So between exits 205 and 200, the road is blocked in that southbound lane, as you can see all the purple right there on your map. There is something that is going on right now. We have sent our ABC7's Marla Spence down to check it out, and we are waiting for her to get there and get on the scene so we can give you some updates as to what's going on. But again, we want to let you know about this. I-75 going southbound, the road is blocked from exit 200 to 205, and of course 681 is 200, and then Clark Road is the other one. So between 200 and 205, if you're heading south today, you're going to want to reroute yourself. I would advise maybe taking 41, because right now 41 southbound is actually running pretty free. We're not seeing too much congestion or any gridlock in that area. But we do have ABC7's Marla Spence. She is going to be heading down to that scene to let us know what is going on in that area. And it looks like right now Marla has gotten down there. She is out there on 75 in that southbound area. Hey Marla, what is going on? What is causing all this congestion?
Hey Stephanie, well, as you can see behind me, traffic is already picking up, and it's not even 6 o'clock yet this morning. I spoke to Patrick Mahoney with the Florida Forestry Service, and he tells us that what is causing all of this is a prescribed burn that happened yesterday. Now, the residue of the smoke from yesterday's prescribed burn in Sarasota County is what's causing this traffic backup and what's causing FHP to close down the portion of I-75 this morning. I'm going to step out the shot so you can see how much this is causing a traffic backup so far this morning. Now, we're also told that Florida Highway Patrol, they determine whether the expressway, whether I-75 is shut down or not. They say that the reason for shutting down I-75 is due to that smoke from yesterday's prescribed burn. And they also say that usually they don't do prescribed burns late at night, but due to that residue of that smoke is why they closed the I-75 down, and they don't want any type of accidents or any type of issues going on with drivers. So that's why they went ahead and closed I-75. And there's no word yet on when this will all be cleaned up, when they'll be done with getting that smoke cleaned up and cleared up out of the way for drivers this morning. So we're working on learning more information for you guys, and once we find out more, we'll bring you the latest. Reporting live in Sarasota, I'm Marla Spence for ABC7, your Suncoast News.
All right, thank you, Marla, for getting down there so fast. Now, don't forget, you can stay on top of the latest traffic issues like this one. Just make sure that you've downloaded our AB7 app. You can search for it under WWSB or ABC7 in the App Store. And make sure you click on those alerts, and we'll send you those push notifications so you can find out when there's any traffic issues in your morning commute. Still ahead, we've got a roundup of all the day's headlines. It's straight ahead for you. It's coming up right after this.
My name is Luke Perry, and I am 1 million strong. I'm in the fight against colorectal cancer because I believe we can win it. Colon and rectal cancers are the second leading cause of cancer deaths among men and women in the U.S. Colon cancer is preventable. Know the risk factors and make sure to get screened. There are simple, take-home options available. Take control of your health. Screening for colon cancer isn't embarrassing. It can be life-saving. To find out more about your options, visit fightcrc.org.
I am the resident district manager on the FAU campus for Chartwell. Whenever I see Haley, I do not see a person with a disability. I see a person with extraordinary abilities. Haley is always smiling. She's always on time. She gives fantastic customer service and is always focused on any job that she's given.
Hi, this is Dan Marino. When your business recruits people with disabilities, everybody wins. To find out how, go to disabilitieswork.org. EmployFlorida.com.
Want the latest weather and traffic conditions wherever you go? Introducing ABC7's revolutionary new First Alert weather app. With our state-of-the-art new weather app, you get up-to-the-minute weather alerts, interactive radar maps, current conditions, 10-day forecasts, real-time traffic maps, and weather video from ABC7, all at your fingertips. And it's free. Just search Suncoast WX in the App Store and download onto all your devices today. Sponsored by Mr. Sparky.
I took my first handful of pills, and that's when all my priorities seemed to change.
He would ask to use the bathroom in other people's homes.
He just assumed that they would have medication.
He'd go in their medicine cabinets and steal prescription drugs.
I wish I knew really what these prescription pills were.
We were so naive about the whole drug thing.
These are all synthetic forms of heroin.
Keep your medication locked up because you'll never notice that a pill is gone.
Mind your meds. Learn more from the Partnership for Drug-Free Kids.
Thank you. You got a king?
Go fish!
It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
The skills you develop as a soldier in the Army National Guard can give you a head start on your career. Gain practical experience with technology and equipment that will give you a leg up in the civilian world. Learn critical leadership skills and to be part of a team. Serve your community and your country part-time while earning money for an education. Visit NationalGuard.com to learn about the paid training and career opportunities available to you in the Army National Guard.
My goal every day when I come into work at ABC7 is to tell your stories, give you that major local news and those details that you really care about. I'm Jacqueline Matter, and I'm here for you.
All right, here's your morning headlines. First, so many questions surrounding the ambush and murder of two Florida sheriff's deputies yesterday in broad daylight. The alleged shooter has been identified, but no motive has been uncovered just yet. Plus, captured a Minnesota grandmother on the run for a month and wanted in connection of two murders, including one in Florida, was caught last night in Texas. And Barbara Bush will lie in repose today as the public finally gets a chance to pay their respects to the beloved First Lady. ABC7 will be live streaming this. It begins at noon and will run at least until midnight. And of course, a full hour of the news continues here on Good Morning Suncoast. Your First Alert weather and traffic. Stick around.